My name is Scott Jorgens from Endeavour Solutions and our sub-brand GP Support North. Today's webinar is on business-to-business portals for Dynamics GP, Nav, and Business Central with our special guests from k-ecommerce.
So yeah, as Scott mentioned, we're here to really do an educational session around what it is that we do in the industry, but really the best practices around what we do, because that's really important. Not only are we offering digital transformation, but we're also offering security. Those are really two of the product pillars of what we offer. We're going to show those solutions in a demo, and then towards the end, we can open it up for questions and the confidential pricing. So I'm on the left. I have about 20 years of experience myself in the Microsoft Dynamics community. I started in GP back in 2002, and then really have come out to the rest of the ERPs since then, helping different businesses along the way, really with digital transformation. My expertise is really in the e-commerce and payment processing world for Dynamics GP, Nav, AX, Business Central, F&O customers. That is my bread and butter. That is who I help, and that's what I've been doing for the last 20 years. And Patrick on the right, who will be doing the demo, he has a technical background. His role within our company is to help businesses. And I mean that by taking a look at what their digital transformation needs are in regards to e-commerce and payment processing, and marrying those with our solutions to make sure we have a good fit. So who are we? Essentially, we're part of a larger organization in MDF Commerce. MDF Commerce is publicly traded on the Toronto Stock Exchange, and we have many different products under the MDF banner or brand. And they all do one thing. It's digital transformation. That is what we do. We're e-commerce ecosystems, and they follow three different operational pillars. We have our e-commerce, which is what we're here to talk about today, but we also have e-marketplaces and strategic sourcing solutions as well. We're a team of over 800 plus team members, and we transact over $15 billion for our customers on an annual basis. Now, pivoting a little and talking specifically about the product k-ecommerce, we're about, we do about 700 different customers within the Microsoft Dynamics ecosystem. We've done over 1,500 websites. We have between 70 and 80 team members. And we transact about $2 billion of that $15 billion our whole company does. So we are a growth pillar for our company, and we're specifically focused on Microsoft Dynamics and SMB, small to medium-sized businesses, ranging anywhere from about 10 million up to 400 million. We have outliers on both ends, but that is really our bread and butter. So when we're talking about ERP integrated platforms, what does that mean? It means that we are focused on leveraging the information that you are managing on a day-to-day basis in your accounting system, and taking that information and helping run a website. So you're not doing duplicate order entry, right? You're not doing duplicate data entry. And it is supplemental in nature on the e-commerce side, as you can supplement the information coming out of the ERP. So you might not have the best pictures or the best titles or descriptions in the ERP. If you do, great, I can pull them out, I can use them. But if you want to uplift them on the website, we provide quick and easy tools to be able to do that. As I mentioned, our client profile is anywhere from the 1 million to 400 million, typically wholesale, distribution, manufacturing, and retail. So B2B in nature is probably 70 to 80% of our websites that we do. And direct to consumer, or what is now called, what was called business to consumer, or B2C, is now D2C. So we do about 80, 20, 70, 30 when it comes to B2B and D2C. The vast majority of our customers are in North America, but we do as well do businesses for companies overseas. Our go-to-market, we work directly with our customers and our partner in Endeavour. It's very important, and that's really one of the things that sets us aside in this, or sets us on a platform on this industry, is that we really work with everyone involved to make sure that we have a great go-to-market strategy and we have a flawless implementation and go live. As I mentioned, we integrate to D365 BC. We also integrate to GP and Nav. A lot of our customers, the challenges that they see when they come to us are automation, right? They're typically managing a Shopify site or a Magento site, and then they have some type of an order dump going back into the ERP on a daily basis, or maybe they're doing it manually and they're typing it in one by one. But also on the flip side of that, the information to help run that website is already in the ERP. But most people are, utilizing two different databases, or, the industry hot term is siloed information. But they're really struggling with that, and there comes some issues with that, redundancy, human errors, but also data security and data protection, talking about credit card information, right? So we essentially offer three things to fix these problems. Number one is our ERP integrated e-commerce solution, B2B or direct to consumer. We also have a solution for internal order entry and internal customer service. We call that our sales portal. We have our integrated payment solution, which essentially is a solution that helps our merchants or our customers. They can process a payment without leaving GP, without leaving Business Central. This could be a credit card, this could be an EFT or an ACH in the States, and they can do that secure. They can ask for customers' credit card information, so no credit card information ever passes through the employee's desk, minimizing the risk of a security breach. But also, we provide a payment portal for customers to pay invoices. So if you're like, yeah, we allow customers to pay by credit card, but we always send them an invoice and they pay at a later date. That's what this solution is for. It's an online bill payment. They log in with the username and password. They could be an e-commerce user or they cannot, so it can be an independent solution. And they can see their open invoices. They can see historical data. They can see where those invoices fall within the aging report, 30, 60, 90, 120 plus, and they can pay them. And when they do pay them, it's done securely, and it's integrated back to the doc IDs inside of BC and GP. So it's automated. Now, additionally, really the last service we offer is the merchant account processing. So we can actually provide not only the software, but also the gateway and the merchant account. And 9 times out of 10, we can beat the merchant account fees that you currently have. So I'll dive into those a little bit more. So this is an infographic really of what we do. Those 3 pillars, those 3 solutions that we provide in the ecosystem. We have the ERP up here at top, call it GP or Business Central. We have our e-commerce solutions. They're transactional websites. They're processing transactions from your B2B customers, your wholesalers, your distributors, or retailers, or your internal reps on behalf of your customers. On the right side, we have the KIP solution. I can embed that KIP solution within the e-commerce so the customer doesn't know they're working with 2 different solutions, or the KIP solution can stand alone. So if you already have an e-commerce or you do not do any type of online activity at all, but you have a large accounts receivable, we can throw KIP up there, your customers can pay. Now, when they do transact on the e-commerce company, or they do go in to pay an open invoice, we offer the merchant account processing. So it really is a one-stop shop where customers can come in, pay their bills, buy new products, and pay at the time of order entry or pay later. Now, what's very important is the security around it. It's PI DSS certified, it's level 1 certified. It's the highest level of certification that you can invest in this industry. So what it allows our customers, or what we call our partners, to do is to have that level of security. We offer level 1 processing, but also level 2 and 3 processing if anyone's dealing with the government or would like that extra layer of security. Next day bank reconciliation. And you can charge in a couple different ways. If you're doing a new order, you can do a pre-authorization. We can post-authorize automatically once the item is invoiced, or you can go ahead and do a direct charge like a customer or one of our partners that would be more of a service customer. So on the e-commerce side, we really call this a sales rep that works 24/7 and barely ever makes any mistakes. That's really what this is. And really what it provides you is a platform that makes it easier for your customers to do business with you. Not only does it do that, but it also allows you internally to, I wouldn't say effortlessly, but a lot easier support the day-to-day management of an e-commerce solution. We provide all of this under one roof, which is very unique in this industry. Most other companies that claim to do what we do, they're leveraging other companies' softwares. So at k-ecommerce, we offer it all under one roof: the ERP integration, the web design, the hosting, the training, the support, the maintenance, and we can also equip your internal team with these tools. So the ability to create orders, quotes, returns, anywhere, anytime. All they need is an internet connection. They can log into the back end of our solution, pick the customer that they need to manage, and manage them appropriately, which provides autonomy for the reps, but it also provides flexibility in today's world where, you know, we have people working from home a lot more than we did, where they don't need to, you know, VPN in anymore. This tool can really help them do their day-to-day job. And we really help complete peace of mind when it comes to security. The private cloud hosted in a Canadian infrastructure, enterprise grade. It is PIDSS level 1 certified. There's no hidden fees. What you see is what you get, and it is scalable and upgradable. So as I mentioned before, what does integrated e-commerce mean for your business? It really means digital transformation. Our goal is to optimize business processes, streamline customer-specific pricing, inventory, provide up-to-date and correct information, eliminate as much human error as we possibly can, avoid duplicate efforts, maximize your search engine optimization, and that really helps lower operational costs and gives a better environment for your customers to do their daily business in. Now, when we look at an e-commerce solution or really any type of web platform, we look at different things that we need to provide to you so it provides that to your customers. Number one is education. This solution has a full-blown content management system that allows you to build what are called static pages. So things about your company, you know, meet the team, about us, locations, FAQs, testimonials. We also want to optimize the user experience for your customers. So give them information that's directly what they want to see. So customer-specific inventory, customer-specific pricing, customer-specific checkout terms. Some customers might be able to pay on terms where other customers might be credit card only. We'd also like to empower your office to support and sell to your customers through this platform. And then obviously the integration part of our business is increasing efficiency with said integration, allowing someone to process an order and that order is back in GP or BC in the next 30 seconds. You change a price in GP or BC, that's updated on the website. Now I'll pivot here and talk about our payment solution a little bit more in depth. Essentially, it comes in two flavors. They're both available to any of our customers. You pick and choose if you want one or the other or both. Our payment extension, it sits within inside of GP and BC. It allows you to process, as I mentioned, either while you're creating an order or once the invoice is created, so more of a cash receipt. And you can do a pre or post authorization or a direct charge. And it really helps enable the internal capture of either a credit card or an EFT securely within the ecosystem of Microsoft. It's all tokenized. None of the information will ever be on your servers. It speaks directly to our PCI Level 1 server, and it is referenceable by the card type and last 4 digits or bank account number. Whereas the payment portal, it allows your customers to do all that themselves. They can log on, they can view those documents, they can pay them, and those will be automatically associated back to the doc ID inside of BC or GP, or they can actually do an unapplied amount. So if someone needs to send you money, but you don't have an invoice created, they can go ahead and do that, and then you can associate it with inside of the ERP to the doc ID once it is created. And it really gives that self-service to the customers. That's what people are asking for these days. As more and more millennials come into the workforce, they want autonomy. They don't need to contact an accounts receivable person to pay their bill. They want to be able to do it, and they want to be able to reference an old credit card or a bank account that they put in a month ago. So it's really maximizing the payment structure of your business, but also the productivity. You know, the days of calling my AR person to pay a bill, you can still do that, but even if you do that, that accounts receivable person can utilize either the piece that's in GP, the piece that's in BC, or they can actually go online and use the sales portal functionality to be able to log on behalf of the customer and pay their bill online, and it will backfill and integrate back into the ERP. Now, merchant account processing. This is something I'm sure everyone gets a lot of calls about. We can save you money. We can save you money. And that's one part of it. The other part of it is also the solution or the technology that efficiently allows you to process those payments, and that's what we're offering. So inside of those solutions, not only can we automate those, but we can also typically beat the rates that you currently have. We will take a look at your account, see if we can, be honest if we can. There's no hidden fees. We offer level 1, 2, and 3 processing. It is in a PCI DSS level 1 certified environment. EFT, ACH, and it really connects with all banks. It's safe, it's easy, and it's reliable. So the reconciliation happens within 24 hours. You can improve your relationships with your customers by giving them more options to pay, giving them more options to do what they have to do. Some of your customers will be people that are working 9 to 5. What if they want to pay a bill at 9 o'clock at night? That's what this solution allows. And additionally, with us, it's a single point of contact. If you have a question about a payment, if you have a question about e-commerce or payment processing technology, that's what we provide. So the infographic on the right is really denoting the PCI data security standard, the DSS. The customers put their credit card information online. Information goes directly to the servers, and then goes out directly to a gateway, then to the merchant processor. So all of this information is always encrypted, tokenized, and saved entirely within that PCI level 1 certified vault, allowing you to become PCI compliant with utilizing a solution like this. You can always be PCI audited. If you're utilizing a solution like this, that audit becomes a lot more stringent because it's never passing through your customers, or excuse me, your internal reps, nor will it be passing through your servers, which is very, very, very important. So I'm going to now pass it over to Patrick for the demo, and he's going to walk you through the e-commerce ecosystem, the KIP solution, both the extension and the payment portal, and talk about a few other interesting things here in our ecosystem. So go ahead, Patrick, take it away.
Thank you so much, Rob. So today we do have quite a bit of pieces to show for the demo. So I'll just give a quick outline as to what they are, right? Rob obviously talked about the 3 pillars of k-ecommerce, one being the actual e-commerce platform, where customers can essentially visit your website, find your products, shop for them, and then purchase them. We're going to be talking after that about the KIP platform, so how we can process transactions on different documents or invoices for your customers, or that they can essentially log in and pay them as required. And then along the way, we'll obviously talk about the payment processing behind all of this that's kind of embedded within these 2 solutions. But to start things off, the e-commerce platform itself. So in this demo here today, we're using the website that you see on my screen. This is an industrial demo website, and it's been set up specifically for B2B, and I'll go through sort of the various features and functionality throughout. And the first thing obviously is the design, the look and feel of this site. So the platform does have a content management system, or a CMS, meaning that everything related to the design and overall theme of the site, the images that you see on the screen, can all be adapted, changed, modified to fit the branding that is required. So just for timekeeping's sake, I won't go into the CMS for today, However, just know that if I need to change my colors, my logo, theme, all that sort of stuff, it can be done very easily with our platform. Now, as this website is more specifically designed for business to business, we've elected to have a few setup requirements. Specifically in my example, we've locked it down so that the general user or general buyer cannot actually purchase any products on the site. So what I mean by that is if you look at some of the products that we're listing here, I can't actually see the specific price that I receive. Obviously, we can see the retail price that I've set up, but just to say we've locked this website down for any general consumers because in this example, we're B2B specific and we want to hide it. There are a number of configurations that we can do around this. I can also hide products entirely if that's up to you. If you don't want to even show the products that you're selling, you can hide it pretty much entirely so that they have to log in order to see anything, right? So specific to existing customers of yours. Or we can obviously do the opposite and fully open it up, let the public purchase the products that you need, add their information, and check out. So all of those different scenarios can be done. It's really just a question of setup. So for today's purposes, we're going to go ahead and log in and we're going to pretend we're an existing customer. So in this case, I get to the login page, of course, with an email address and password. Goes without saying these days, if I've forgotten my password, there is a setup for that as well. Now, once I've logged in, I'll select the account. In this particular scenario, I'm actually a user that has access to multiple different customer records. So if I am a business that has multiple branches, I can select the branch that I need to buy for today. And once I'm in, essentially this is what I'm compelled to show you right now, the dashboard. It's the information specific to me as an existing customer. So we show some general information, the last 5 orders that were placed under my account, the status of those orders, the date of them, and obviously the total amount. And then we're also showing a list of frequently ordered products. So specific to me as a buyer, the items that I have purchased on a more regular basis for various purposes that we'll get into. So as a buyer, and somebody who purchases, let's say, often or is a regular customer, I'll get this glimpse into my account history, and if I need to see one of these orders, I can just open them up. For example, this one was shipped. So we get some details about the order number, the invoice number, and so on. If tracking information or a tracking number has been added to the order in the ERP, whether it's GP, Nav, or Business Central, well then that will be reflected on the website. And all of the information that we see on the screen related to the order or even the invoices are all, again, reflected from what exists in the ERP. And that speaks to our integration, right? So an order is created in the ERP, all of a sudden, all this data will be online for your customers to visit and view whenever needed. You make a change to an order, you change it from order to invoice. Well, that integration that we have so tightly knit with the ERP allows us to see that information within seconds and update the website so that anybody viewing their information will see what is correct and accurate. And if I'm the type of customer who pretty much orders the same thing all the time, well, in this particular scenario, I can view that order and say, you know what, I just need to place this order again. I hit the order again button and all of those items will be added to today's shopping cart. It will validate that it's today's price. Make sure that we're allowed to purchase it if it's in stock or if you're accepting back orders. And then we can continue our purchasing. If I need to edit it or make modifications, well, it's just as easy as making these changes and updating the cart. So that's one way that typically existing customers will place orders. I also talked about the frequently ordered products, which essentially lets somebody who purchases 1 or 2 items on a regular basis easily add them to their existing shopping cart without having to go through the searches and the clicks to get there. And more generally here, when we talk about customers that aren't looking to place a previous order again, we can talk about search, where I can search for some products that you elect to sell to your customers through a number of ways. Either keyword search, a year, make, model type of search that we've set up. So essentially you can dictate or guide your customer to select different drop-downs, which will result in a search result of a given product. And more popular, I would say, is the category search. Now, when it comes to categories and properly setting up categories for an e-commerce platform, part of it comes down to strategy. Of course, we're going to be taking the categories that exist within the ERP if you'd like to leverage those, but we can go a lot further. And what I mean by that is through a few different scenarios that I'll quickly illustrate here. First things first, if I'm in the business of selling replacement parts, for example, we sell large machines. My customers have these large machines, and I sell specific replacement parts that fit into that larger machine. Well, I can easily organize my products categorically so that I can, find the machine that I have at home and look for that specific part that I need to replace and simply replace it. If I'm on the more generic side, where I'm just buying, selling products that can be purchased without sort of being part of a larger machine or anything like that, or replacement, you can always set your products in your more typical categories that we see on the screen. Again, all comes down to strategy and what you prefer. And we'll notice here that now that I've logged in, we get our search results from the category with the left-handed filters, but we see the pricing specific to me as a customer. So depending on what price lists are set up for myself in the ERP, I will see the appropriate prices listed here on a customer-specific level. Very important. Now, whether I filter through my search results or I simply select one of the items in hand, essentially, I'll be given the product details that I can read up on, make sure this is what I do in fact need to purchase, and then I can go about purchasing. In this scenario, we have sort of matrix or grid-like view of the variations of my product. So 3 separate product codes that we've grouped together to easily display and allow for easy buying, right? So if I'm in the business of buying maybe one of each, well, all I have to do is add to the cart 1, 1, and 1, and they will be added. Now, just to wrap things up before I place that order, we'll talk about a sort of specific scenario called the quick order entry screen. Essentially what this tool is, it's designed for customers who historically have sent you emails with long lists of products that they're looking to place an order for. Maybe they called a sales rep up over the phone and one by one started dictating all the items that they wanted to purchase. With this type of tool, if there is a large list of items that is looking to be purchased, it can be done within seconds. So what we see on the screen is essentially a spreadsheet of the shopping cart. Right now, there's nothing in it. And if I have sort of this Excel spreadsheet with the items and quantities that I'm looking to purchase, I've actually created a sort of form that theoretically I'd be sending to my customers where they can add the item and the SKU and the quantity. I've even seen customers of ours go ahead and give an order form with all of their items that they're looking to sell with a quantity of 0 across the board here. And they tell their customers, just fill in the quantity you need for each item and import the list. So it's as simple as copying the code and quantity from that list that we have and pasting them into the windows that we see here. And all of a sudden, within really 3 seconds or less, 1 second, I'm able to have about 10, 12 items in my shopping cart. So a very powerful tool if the use case presents itself. Now, just for the sake of time, I'm going to sort of move forward here and place the order, so make my way to the checkout. And when I do so, again, all of the information from my customer record in the ERP is being displayed. Address, country, and so on. Some shipping options that are pertinent to myself. So I can either ship to a new address or an existing one that I have on file. And moreover, when it comes to shipping costs, there are quite a few options that we can have in terms of calculating the costs. Whether that's integrating direct to one of the carriers that you see on the screen and getting a price from them, that's always an option. If You'd like to set up different rules, for example, flat rate shipping or tiered pricing in terms of shipping, pricing based on weight or cart value. These are all different rules that can be set up depending on the scenario that we're looking at. So I'm just hovering over a few examples to give you an idea. And as we move forward with the order, we can add extra info to the order so that when it gets passed back to GP, NAV, or BC, those pieces of information will be given, obviously, to yourselves. Now, finalizing this off, Rob had mentioned payment is key here. We can pay, obviously, on account, so net terms, whether that's net 30, net 45. We can pay, obviously, on credit card or ACH. When it comes to the payment methods themselves, these will be on a customer-specific level, meaning that each customer can potentially have different options depending on their agreement with you. So in a world where customers are allowed to pay by credit card or ACH, well, we can set up those merchant processing that we were talking about earlier through k-ecommerce, and all of a sudden, through our platform, you're able to accept orders, accept customers' payments through credit card and ACH all under one roof. Makes things very easy. And placing the order, of course, at this point in time, we'll send that order to the ERP so that you can handle it within a minute and properly fulfill all the orders that are required. So that's the e-commerce side. A lot to cover, I know. But now we're going to pivot just a little bit to talk about KIP, the k-ecommerce integrated payments platform that we have available. So KIP comes really in two forms. I'm just going to update my screen here. KIP comes in two forms. Really, what's important to note here is that when a customer logs in to the e-commerce platform that we were looking at before, they'll have the option with this installed to actually pay for invoices online. Let me just back up a step and say that there are two parts to KIP. There's one online, as we're just talking about now. There's also a piece that sits directly inside the ERP, be it Business Central or GP, that lets your team essentially process transactions for the customer. So either the customer does it themselves, they pay their invoices themselves, or you assist in paying it for them. The portal itself, essentially, the look obviously is different because we're on a different site here, but it will match everything that we were talking about earlier, right? It'll look seamless. It'll look like just an extension of the existing website. But now what we've added are functionality specific to invoice payment. So I'll see as a customer the total amount that I have due, if I have any credit or credit memos applicable to my account. And just within a few simple clicks, I can hover over my different invoices that I have to pay them partially, pay them fully, pay multiple in one shot. Really, it's up to me. Let's just do a partial payment today. We'll see the aging report, which is going to be crucial here. And then we can sort of move forward with a few additional features. Credit can be applied. So if you have credit memos that you've given to your customer in a number of forms, as long as there's a credit that is applicable to this particular customer's account, they can see it. It is something that can be hidden if you don't want to sort of give these types of permissions. So it's up to you. All that being said and done, again, we get to the payment methods where now at a date later than the order itself, I can pay the invoices that are open. Same payment methods apply here. Same payment processing through us can be applied, whether that's ACH or EFT, so bank transfers, credit card, or I should say, and credit card. So I'll put the credit card on file that I'm looking to use. Again, it's all fully PCI level 1 certified. So everything that's happening here goes directly to our servers that are secured for this type of information. Never sits on your side for any in any capacity. Now, confirming a payment, just by confirming the amount, the 121, all of a sudden here, there's a few steps that happen. In the ERP, in this case, Business Central, that payment or the cash receipt has been created and properly applied to this invoice document. You'll see a reference number, transaction completion date. Emails obviously go out to the customer thanking them for paying their bill. But before I actually move forward and sort of add it, go into Business Central to show you that, I would like to say that payment tracking is also available. So I can see here, if I go into my history, let's say, down the line, I'll always have a full record as a customer of all the transactions that were done. So I can see here without having to call in all of this data in terms of my history. And it doesn't stop at just one transaction. Obviously, I can do a search for full tracking, whether that's payments, that you can see listed here, searching by periods. I can do my invoices, and I can even see my sales orders. So it's a full window into my account history. So that's one side of KIP. That's the customer-facing side. Now there's a big piece here that sits directly in the ERP, in this case Business Central, that allows essentially your team to do that on behalf of customers. So what do I mean by this? I'll start by showing you really the meat and potatoes of what this is used for, and then we'll expand out a little bit to talk about more general situations. So essentially this payment piece that we're talking about, KIP, is installed directly on the system. You can notice here that, through AppSource, we're able to install this, and it's kind of embedded within Business Central immediately. So you'll see some added functionalities throughout the different windows and screens that you're going to be viewing. It really follows the experience and lets you process payments now on top of any document that you see. So first things first, the meat and potatoes. If we're looking to process a transaction, we're going to want to do it on a sales invoice. Now, what's important to note here is with the system, they have to be posted sales invoices in order for me to process a transaction on them. Reason being, when it's posted, it's locked in. We can't make any changes. We'd have to, go through the step of unposting before we can make a change. So we'll see here, a number of invoices, but I'll just open one up to see that if we go to the actions menu of this particular, invoice that has been issued, we'll have essentially two new links enabled because we've installed KIP. One is the payment, meaning that I can process a payment directly through the screen and all the accounting holds, or I can see any maybe history that was done on this particular invoice as well. But for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and pay. And you'll see within basically 3 clicks, I'm able to get my payment information set up. We'll select the gateway or the method of use. So in this case, credit card, but it could, as we said before, be ACH or EFT. All the amounts are auto-filled, making sure that it's correct and free of errors. We'll select the cards on file that are tokenized and saved in a secure and the most secure way possible. And from your perspective, or whoever's dealing with these, all they have to do is confirm. And just like that, within a few seconds, we're able to actually process the payment, and we'll see that it's successful with all of the payment information coming back to us. We can even download the PDFs if we want to of this receipt. So that's the quick and dirty version of what this does. And there's a ton of features surrounded by this that enable this in different ways and forms. So I talked about, doing this on a particular invoice, and that's great. We also have a quick shortcut here that lets me do it straight through the screen, not having to actually open up the invoice every time I want to process a transaction. But we can also, be a bit deeper in the sense of creating transactions on sales orders, right? So if we're in a situation where we're taking, sales orders through Business Central Direct, on released status sales orders, I can go ahead and open this up and process a transaction in the same way that we just did it, right? So in this particular example, I'll open up this previous sales order that we've created, but obviously if we're creating a new one on the fly because a customer calls in, it's just as valid. So with the sales order, or with the status released, when I go to my actions window, we will see, once again, 2 actions that I can perform. I can pre-authorize, meaning that I can save the funds for this transaction and then process it at a later date through a post-authorization, or I can process it direct. But for the example, we'll go into pre-authorize. So when I do so and I select the window, we're going to see the same thing apply. But now when I select my payment method, it's going to be of type pre-authorization. Now, for anyone unfamiliar with this concept, Really what it is we're not taking the money from the credit card right away. What we're doing is we're reserving the amount listed for a number of days until we can actually invoice and ship the products out. And once invoiced and shipped, we're going to do what's called a post authorization in order to capture that money. But it's frozen for our use and our use only for a number of days. What's great about this method and why it's so popular, especially in the e-commerce world, is that let's say this amount changes by a few dollars. Let's say there's an additional fee of some sort because we don't know exactly what shipping costs are. It is an estimate, and we only know once we ship. Let's say something happens that the amount is actually lower than what was predicted, viewed here. For all these varying scenarios, this is why pre-authorization is so powerful, because it reserves a given amount of funds and it lets us take the correct amount at a later date instead of creating a transaction and then if something change in shipping happens, we're going to have to refund the card or what have you. So again, pre-authorization, confirm the amount, same sort of steps happen. It's all confirmed and the pre-authorization was done. Now let's say a few days later, we open the sales order up and it's time to actually invoice and ship. So for that, I'm just going to go ahead and invoice and ship it. And when I do so, I'll open up that invoice to see how we can do that post authorization that I was talking about a few moments ago, right? So we have this posted sales invoice that we've created. And if I go to the actions once more, I can do two things. Again, pay like we did, or view the payment history. Now, given that we did that pre-authorization, in the payment history, we should see on the screen here in my demo environment, the transaction we just did. So instead of processing that card again, we know that there are the saved funds here for the 17,000. So I just have to select these three dots and post authorize. Follow the steps as we saw before. It autofills the correct amount on the invoice and confirm. And that is how we go through the sales order process of transaction. Now, a lot to take in, I know, so feel free to ask questions or comments sort of at the end of today's session. But before we wrap it up, I did want to go over one last thing, which is how we got here, how the setup happened, how we got to the point where we can start, processing invoices and orders and all that stuff. Because there is a certain customer management that's going to be important here too. So to go through that, if I'm in Business Central and I'm on the customer card that, let's say, we're speaking to, or any customer, and I open them up, again, in the actions, we're going to get some added features specific to, in this case, customer management. So if a customer calls in and says, hey, I'd like to add a new card to my file that's going to be used permanently, from this day forward. Well, we can manage their existing credit cards, no problem, Mr. Customer or Mrs. Customer. These are the cards I have on file. Would you like to change one or add a new one? Maybe there's a new expiration date, what have you. It can be done. If a customer does want to add a new card, Rob was talking about security earlier on. We've added a layer of security, meaning that the general worker who's going to be in Business Central on the day-to-day, maybe the customer service rep, they don't have to listen to the card number over the phone and add it here. All they have to do is, confirm what we call a secure link. And what's going to happen is the customer will receive an email where they can add the card number themselves. So at no point in time is the customer saying their credit card digits over the phone. It gives the peace of mind of that customer. It also gives you the peace of mind of knowing that somebody internally didn't, accidentally write it on a piece of paper because they wanted to add it in a few minutes because they were doing some other work, or all the situations that can come up in our day-to-day. And finally, last but definitely not least, when it comes to reporting, right? We're doing a whole bunch of transactional information here. This window allows us, or this link allows us to see transaction searches, pull reports, and do different configurations for permission-based settings. So to give you an idea here, I can see all the transactions ever done. I can, pull filters and open filters and various reports that we need in order to get the data that I'm looking for. So with all that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to Rob here I think I can share the screen. Or do you want to take the screen, Rob?
Yeah, go ahead and share it. There we go.
Oops. There you go.
I just got to, okay, perfect. All right, so to wrap it up here, why do our customers choose us? We went through the features and the functionalities that Patrick just went over within the last half hour, and all of those drill down into leveraging information in the ERP. And because we offer everything under one roof, we're able to become a partner and not just a vendor. And how that differs in this industry, or most companies that do what we do, they're leveraging multiple companies, so there's more vendors. They're not really partners. So we can guarantee what we offer in the ecosystem of Microsoft, and we can come in at typically a pretty aggressive price, and we can become your partner to not only grow with you, but also be able to guarantee the future of your ERP journey, from NAV to BC, or GP to BC, or BC to future versions of BC. And we do all that because we have that partnership with you, and we also have that partnership with Endeavour. And there's a lot of strength within companies working together for the same goal. So the best way to contact us is really through your Endeavour rep. You can reach out to us, and I'll go ahead and fill in your rep and bring them into the fold, but really let them know that you're interested. We do free consultations, figuring out what it is that your pain points are, seeing if we have a solution to be able to fix that problem, and then obviously taking a look at things like credit card processing and things like that. So we're more than happy to sit down, take a look, see if we can be a help, and become your partner. So I'd really like to thank everyone. We'll open it up for questions here in a little bit. And thank you for joining. So if anyone's interested in hearing more, please reach out to the Endeavour team, and thank you very much.
So for those that are watching this recording and new to Endeavour, we've been around for 33 years now, 3 lines of business: advisory services, implementations, and then ongoing upgrades and supports for Dynamics GP, Dynamics Nav, and Business Central, as well as Dynamics 365 and the CRM components, Microsoft 365, and all the cloud that go with it. Core values: integrity, trust, and accountability. More than just a tagline, it is something that our consultants live by. And as Rob was saying, our collaboration and working with trusted partners really brings in that holistic approach to help our clients get more out of their business. So contacts are for Trish, James, and Steve. We're happy to talk to you. Send us an email, give us a call, and we'll pull in Rob and his team for k-ecommerce and discussions around your portal needs. Or as Rob mentioned, if you go direct, they'll bring us in, and together we're all here to help you. So thanks very much, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and look forward to seeing you on our next webinar.
Thank you so much. You too.
Thank you.